So the big question is this: how do voiceover artists like us who are looking to take our careers to the next level, but don't buy into the claims of needing expensive equipment and demos, start bringing in new clients? How do you follow a clear path to changing your voiceover side hustle into your full-time job and stick it to those that said you couldn't? Those are the questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Earl Hall, and welcome to In the Booth with Earl Hall, where we know how to grind and don't quit. Okay, so I couldn't just leave you guys hanging like that. Everything's okay. The fire alarm ended. So I want to go ahead and jump back into this again. We'll see who jumps back in on the live stream that I had to cut short. So this will be part 2 of how to get a voiceover agent. So in part one, I covered a bunch of stuff already. So let me pick up from there. If you missed the first part because the fire alarm went off in our building, then just look at the previous video and it'll catch you up to where we are right now. Looking at the questions coming in, and I'm going to take a look at those in just a moment here. But again, what I was saying, getting an agent is relatively easy. Especially if you're looking to go in a smaller market. Milwaukee, for instance, is a much smaller market than a Chicago market is. Chicago is only an hour and a half down the road. So it was much easier for me to get agents here where I am in a smaller market than a major market like a Chicago would be. And so if you're in a major market, you want to look at the smaller market. And I'm talking to those of you particularly that are just getting started and, have probably been in it for a year or two, and you're looking to expand some of the things that you're doing. Is it necessary to get an agent? No, it's not a necessary thing. But when you're looking at streams of revenue, streams of income, having that agent as well to kind of be pushing work towards you can be important. As I was saying before the fire alarm had went off in the building, you want to see where that agent is getting their work from. I know that the agents here in Milwaukee, where I am, they're looking at a local market or a regional market between the capital of Wisconsin, which is Madison. Madison is about an hour and a half to the west. Chicago is an hour and a half to the south. So I'm in southeastern Wisconsin, right up, literally, I can see Lake Michigan from my office. So I'm right at the lake here in southeast Wisconsin. Looking at where that agent is getting their work from can be important, because if you've got an agent and they're doing national stuff, that means they're probably going to have a bigger stable of, people that are in the voiceover industry that they can draw from. When you're in a smaller market and it's more localized or more regional, especially in a smaller market, there's not as much competition. Let me put it that way. One of the things here in Wisconsin that is kind of neat, and you can look at it any way you want, and several areas around the country may be this way. I get a lot of work because I'm African American, and there's trouble getting a lot of African Americans in the area where I am that actually do voiceover. And that could be the same thing for any language that is spoken, so on and so forth. If there's a need in your area for your particular, whether it's, ethnicity, whether it's language or whatever, even dialect, what's the word I'm looking for? Accents, whether it's, you're in a southern area and they want southern accent speakers, or they don't. You can kind of determine those types of things depending on where you are and the market that you're looking to get into. And so it's just something you're going to have to research on that. But if your agent is getting work locally and regionally, it can be a very good relationship to have, as opposed to a larger agent you get a larger agent like in an LA arena, you're going to make more money if you book the job, but you may not get as much work, if you understand what I mean, because there's so much competition in those particular areas. I know Ruth was asking me to talk more about range before we got into the fire alarm debacle. Ruth was asking, she says, can you talk more about range and how to develop it so that it's more distinctive? Does range also have to do with your acting type? Thanks. When I say range, I'm talking about, and this is very, very simple, because all it has to do with is your personality. Range only deals with your personality, and all of us have them. There is a certain tone to us as individuals when we're angry. There's a tone to us when we're excited. There's a tone to us when we're trying to be deep and philosophical. There's a tone to us when we're deeply in love and we're talking about things of that nature. So when you're looking at a script, your range, think about it as your different personality traits that you have. And how do you express those? And it's even though voiceover is all about acting, you have to draw on your natural capabilities. If there's an exciting scene or something like that, or script that you have to perform, how would you actually be at a football game? How would you be at a soccer game? Or as Ben Wake wants to call it, football, since he's in Europe. How would you be in those different scenarios if you're sad? What is your natural sad state? What do you feel like? What is your tone like when you're sad? And all of this just has to be natural. You just have to express your different states of emotion in a natural way. So you want to have those different ranges of emotion, not all of them, just a few, just a different range of emotion so that every clip on your demo does not sound like every other clip. There's got to be some sort of distinction between, ebbs and flows in your demo so that people can see what you're capable of doing. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to look here and see if there's any more questions coming in. With that, and if you've got questions, feel free to go ahead and plop them in there. Again, so sorry about the whole fire alarm debacle, but I felt extremely bad. So I thought, well, I'll just come back tomorrow. So no, let me just go ahead and finish it today. Even though it's going to mess up my whole flow with this video. I'll have 2 videos as opposed to 1 video, which is just for YouTube. This is not a good thing as far as my numbers go, but I care more about you guys than I do about my own numbers on YouTube. So we'll deal with that. But if there's any other questions, guys, go ahead and pop those into the comments section and I will answer those questions. And let me just rewind here back a little bit and see. I want to make sure that I didn't miss any questions even before the fire alarm went off. Let's see. Yeah, talking about firing your agents. Yeah, I've fired some agents. I just don't respond to them anymore. Let's see. Hope you feel better, Mage Pro. All right. Well, it looks like that was it. Doesn't look like anyone else has any other questions. And again, sorry for the fire alarm debacle. That was beyond my control on that one. So luckily there was no fire. So in the building, this is, I think this is a 9-story building. I'm on floor number 6. So, but apparently the all clear came through. So we're good. And thank you folks for being concerned. That's sweet. Okay, well, doesn't look like any more questions. So kind of to wrap this up, the whole thing about getting an agent, again, it's just another revenue stream that is there that maybe if you're not ready to look at yet because you don't have a demo or whatever, when you get there, you get there. Is it necessary? Not necessarily. Yeah, is it necessary? Not necessarily. But it is something that's out there to increase your revenue stream and all of that. But if you do have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll see them and respond to your questions as well after this video goes off air. Don't leave a question in the live stream chat. I won't see it. As soon as the live stream goes off, those chats disappear. So if you've got a question from this point on, just leave it in the comment section after the video comes back, is ready to be re-aired on YouTube, and that should be within a couple of minutes after I go off air. And tomorrow is Grind and Don't Quit Friday. I'll be in my Grind and Don't Quit gear. Go get your mugs. Just go on the site, stepstovoiceoversuccess.com, click on Grind and Don't Quit Gear, and you can get your t-shirts, your coffee mugs, your sweatshirts. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we got there for you. So go check that out, and I will see you guys on tomorrow. You take care. Bye-bye.